Evening all, welcome to Factorio. Today we are going to do a base expansion. This is where, look, already blueprinted, already ready to go. This is the wonder of this game. I made the blueprint, and this is what I love about this game, is that it kind of has so much depth. It's kind of like a kind of Proust novel. It just goes and goes and goes, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, there we go. It's a wonderful game. Look at that. I think it's fun that you can spend time building specifications that then turn into usable tools, I guess, because this is an entire artillery forward base. This is what will establish control. Think of this as your kind of military base in the middle of, of the Kuwaiti desert. This is exactly what it's here to do, is to basically say, come at me, brah. And this is needed. There's a few things you have to do with this. You obviously have to have the supplies to build the walls and everything like that. As you can see, the drones are going completely nuts. But what you also have to do is you have to set up supply trains. And there's 3 different supply trains. There's an artillery hauler, so that brings shells from the manufactorium of the central base for the artillery cannons. You have then the oil train, which brings processed oil to be used for the flamers. And then you have the ammunition and mine deliverer system thing train, which then, and you see all of the external perimeter, that's all mine, that's a minefield basically. And what will happen is once you deploy these trains, effectively it resupplies, and it will automatically sit and wait for a particular level to be dropped below in terms of oil. So if it drops below 5,000 litres, then the train will instantly then kick into action and off it goes. The same is true with artillery shells, and the same is true with the ammo and so on. And what that means is it then drops the mines into a storage area, and then the drones, the bots, then will pick up the mines and replace them when the bugs walk into them and blow them up. So in a very roundabout way, I've just told you the entire systematic process of how these forward bases work, and I just freaking love them. It does take a bit of setup to do. I've got to admit that it's something that it can be a bit fiddly, but once you get the hang of it, it's just such a wonderful thing to do. Now, what I've done is I've planted this base. In the previous video for Factorio, I think we've shown that we were being attacked by bugs, which was annoying. So what I did is I built this forward base to act as a buffer. So what it will now do is, once we've supplied it, and as you can see, there's lots of warnings to say the guns are empty, and luckily we've got the laser turrets online because they just need power. I'm sending my train back to base to restock, but as you can see, we're quite far away, and we've got some of our radar units aren't working here, so they're being attacked, which is annoying. So basically the idea is this whole southern perimeter was being harassed by the bugs, so I've had to deploy this base, and you see the artillery circumference, you see the area where it will shoot. It will then start to destroy all the bases there and push it back. Now, effectively, bugs are actually not terribly hostile if there's no pollution. I actually don't think they are hostile at all. But if any pollution they detect, they start to get very annoyed and they come and attack. So having these bases is important, because what it does is it pushes back the bug from the forward base, which is effectively what I'm doing. So there we go. So this is what I'm doing here, is just setting up the train. So this will be our shell picker upper. That's the technical term for those that don't know. And this will go to the manufactorium, pick up shells, bring them back here, deploy them, and then the drones will drop them in the conveyors that would load them automatically into the artillery pieces, which is such a cool thing. All of those words in there were just so cool, and I enjoyed saying them. We also have to do the same for the oil. So the oil train is coming from an oil area. Let's say it's coming from a particular set of pumps that I've set only to provide oil in an offensive capability. So they're not going to be drained by the manufacturing that's going on. So they're literally unique, bespoke to the forward bases only. And you can see here, look at all the missing components. Again, look, we've still got even a base there, which is not good. This is, I think, one of the nicest things about Factorio, is that they could have just made this like Minecraft, where there really isn't much threat in Minecraft. I mean, the things that spawn, the creepers and skeletons and that, they're all a bit weak, and they're all a bit pathetic. Whereas in this game, if you don't defend yourself, you will be wiped out by the bugs, and it's very Starship Troopers, dare I say. And I really like that, so I'm quite excited about this kind of continual requirement to build a defensive position. Now, before artillery came, it was impossible to do this really effectively. You had to build massive, massive walls, and your bases were limited because you could never really have enough power and enough. The game slows down if you have mega spanning walls, for example. So I didn't really want to do that. But now with artillery, you create, as Trump would like to call it, a virtual wall that you can see through. And it's basically the perimeter that there you go. Trump's missed the tactic there. He could literally deploy heavy artillery, automated heavy artillery at the border wall, and it would basically just keep everyone the hell away from the border. I am joking. Please do not think that that's a credible solution. And if I find that suddenly on the GOP website, I'm going to be very disappointed, or the GOP or whatever you call it. So there we go. So for me, this is a wonder of a game, and I just wish more people played it. I think it's a game. I'd like to convey a concept to you, and this will be an interesting one for you to hear your comments on. Is there such thing as the perfect game? Right? I was thinking about this while playing PUBG. And the answer, in my opinion, is actually no, there's not, right? But Factorio is the one game that I would say has come so close to being the perfect game because, and let me explain, I like RTSs. I loved RTSs. I loved playing Red Alert and Command and Conquer and all those. My very first RTS was Dune 2. I even have a video on the channel from about 6 years ago, maybe more, maybe less, when I actually played Dune 2. And it was such a cool game. I played Emperor of Dune. I just love these games. I love the Dune concept anyway because I'm a big sci-fi fan and I've read all the books. But I really did like the RTS that they made of Dune 2, and I thought it was a very good book. And the reason I liked it was because you could do so much with it. It was this wonderful resource collecting, creating armies and going and fighting. Now, the next level of what I think was an expansion on that was Supreme Commander 2. Now, Supreme Commander 1, actually. Supreme Commander 1 and 2 were brilliant games where all of a sudden you had this massive map, and all of a sudden the game had air units and sea units and land units. So, and it became this wonderful spanning, scaling, scoping game. Now, I then played Minecraft and I enjoyed Minecraft, and I'm a man enough to admit that I did enjoy Minecraft. But what I did enjoy more was things like the tech it thing of Minecraft, which was it was where this kind of ability to have multiple ores and multiple things and so on. So basically, it made a lot of complexity around Minecraft, which is really interesting. Now, what happened then is I found Factorio. Now, Factorio for me is almost the perfect game because the maps are huge. And I mean, it would take 30 minutes to cross the bases, to cross the map if you actually opened it a bit more up. And in theory, it's infinite. I love that. I love the fact that you could be so far away that your base can be destroyed because you just can't get there in time. And I think that's an incredibly unique concept. Oh, here we go. Watch, the guns are going to be loaded and you're going to see hell rain down. So look at that. They're already turning. The Iraqi super guns are ready to fire. I think that's so cool. And they're basically going to start shooting into the void because they can detect the bases. So that's what they're doing now. They're basically just pummeling all the bases. And there we go. So if I zoom out, and you can see, look at that. It's all, and because they auto-detect, they'll just push bases further and further back, which is really all I wanted. Everything else is just to defend the artillery. Anyway, so from my point of view, Factorio has all of the crafting and building that I think big games like Space Engineers got absolutely spot on. It has the tech kit, it has the depth of the tech kit thing, and even with the mods like Bob's mod and Angel's mod, it goes into it such a high degree of detail that detail monkeys will be well served. So for me, it's good. It's got the creeping mechanics of StarCraft. So you've got these bugs and these monsters that attack you. I love all that. It makes me feel like it's a game that Starship Troopers should have been. And I did play Starship Troopers, the game, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And for me, I think this starts to get into that realm of bases that are there to fight the bug. I love all that. And it also goes into, I think, a level of complexity where it rewards you when you design something really well. So this structure here, it's not by any means perfect, but the enjoyable part of this game is, can I optimize this? So can I make it better? Will it be better? Is it operating correctly? And then, going into the ability to do programming logic. So you can say, if this, then that. So I can make it so that when my ammo starts to run low, a train will run, it will bring ammo, and then the lights reset. To me, that is a game that gives you skills, and it gives you understanding, and it gives you the ability to comprehend logistics. It gives you the ability to look at design. And I think these are the games that really kids should be playing in school, because there's such a great concept here. And I think Minecraft does it well, but I think, you know, when you look at the programming circuitry in Minecraft, that's great, but this takes it to a whole nother level. So there we go. So for me, I think games like this really do expand your mind. I love games where you build something. I'm not a big fan of completely destroying all the time. Although if you check out my Sniper Elite montages, they're pretty inappropriate. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.